Hey everybody, today we're talking about Superman for all seasons. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're talking Superman for all seasons. Yes, I know this is the older trade paperback. Like, it's so old, it's got the Bullet logo that I loved with the little star. This was, 3 logos ago? There's a newer version of this out in deluxe hardcover, I believe, a deluxe edition. It's oversized, things like that, got some extras. But if you can find the Superman for All Seasons trade paperback out there, I think pretty easily, check that out, for a little bit of a smaller price. This one, way back when, cost $17.99. I'm pretty sure now it'll probably cost at least $20 or $25. But Superman for All Seasons, I did a video... what were we reading? The Final Days of Superman. And I was like, I'll probably do one more before the movie comes out. And I was talking about All-Star Superman, and I still have that on the list. I have the books out on top of my, I want to read for the show pile. And I was like, you know what? That's 12 issues. Let's do Superman for All Seasons. Because I've only ever read this once when I bought this trade years ago. I was not reading comics when it came out in 1999, I believe, in 2000. And so I'd only ever read this once. So I was like, I should read that again because this is one of the more legendary, more well-rounded, more recommended Superman stories. One of the few true evergreens he has that's not quite an origin tale. It's also one of, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's probably better works. A lot of theirs are good. I've read most of the DC stuff. I have not read all of the Marvel stuff that they did, and I don't have those in the collection either. So, but yeah, this one is pretty good. So Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale, you might know them from Batman Long Halloween, Batman Dark Victory, Daredevil Yellow, Spider-Man Blue. They did Captain America White, Hulk Gray, all those types of things. If you also watched the first season of Heroes, you might recognize Tim Sale's art as they used his art for one of the characters was drawing like prophetic images, and they used Tim Sale for those images. Like he drew specific images for the show, so that is another place you might know his work from. Superman Classified, Superman Confidential. That's I think what it was. There was a Kryptonite storyline with Darwin Cook he illustrated. But unfortunately, Tim Sale passed away a few years ago, so this is one of his better works. Superman for All Seasons, what is it? It's 4 issues only. 4 issues. It's not a long read, honestly, because it's 4 issues, and it's Jeff Loeb, and Jeff Loeb just, he loves his narrative captions, man. He loves them. He doesn't overdo them. I think this version of Jeff Loeb is the one that I love the most. The Jeff Loeb when he's working with Tim Sale and he's writing very not expeditiously, but efficiently. He's letting the artwork do a lot of the work. I feel like the stuff he's been doing with Batman Hush 2, or Hatush, as my buddy Ian calls it, is just a little more like, there's more to chew on, and not in a good way. Like, it feels like a chewy steak, and you're just like, this is really tough. Like, just where's the comic storytelling? Like, we know Jeff Loeb knows how to tell a story. He has many legendary books, especially with Tim Sale, that are all good to great, if not fantastic and awesome, right? But this is one of those books that's just in the fantastic and awesome category. This tells basically, I would say, I don't know if it's the first year of Clark being Superman, but it's probably like the first year and a half if you're, if you skip some seasons and stuff like that. Basically, every issue in here constitutes a season in Superman's life, and season not as in a period of time, but as in part of the calendar, right? So it starts with spring, summer, fall, then winter. And spring is the spring of Superman. Like, this is the story of Clark discovering, he graduates high school, he tells Lana Lang he has powers, and he leaves for Metropolis sometime after that. It's not really clear if he leaves right after high school, like this is Clark Kent going to Metropolis at 18, but I think there is some period of time in between him graduating and leaving Smallville on this page to to becoming Superman at the end of that first book. So that's my interpretation of it. I truly don't know. He certainly doesn't draw Superman as an 18-year-old. This kid is massive, if that's the case. But that's part of the story in the spring. Summer is just kind of him getting to know Metropolis a little bit. You have the introduction of Luthor. Some people are firing missiles. And then fall also has him interacting with some Luthor robots or people in Luthor costumes. And Luthor trying to like take Superman's... I would say livelihood, his purpose away from him. And then, stuff like that. And then Superman, after fall, Superman kind of gets disillusioned with being in Metropolis and goes back home to Smallville to kind of reconnect and find out, where he went wrong. And he reconnects with Lana Lang and, kind of reestablishes that, you know what, I do need to be Superman. Superman is needed, and I shouldn't doubt myself in such a way, and ends up back in Metropolis by the end. So it's a nice little story, honestly. There's not a huge overarching plot or anything like that. Each one's kind of a one-and-done vignette, we'll call it, or an episode. But these four kind of build up to a larger story of Clark becoming Superman, doubting himself, and then the resolution of I realize I do need to be Superman, or Superman is needed. There is a place for a hero like this in this world, a need for a hero like this in this world. And that's really cool. I'm not the hugest Superman guy. I'm a Batman dude through and through, but it's stories like this that I can understand why people love Superman as much as they do, because he's just the ultimate do-gooder. And unfortunately, I think for the character, for Superman in general, is that there are far and few between of stories like this that are great, or just people like Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale that are able to tell a story like this that resonates on that emotional core, on that human level that Superman really operates as, instead of a superhero doing, mysteries and kicking the Joker's ass like Batman does. I think it's harder for people to do that for Superman because he's very powerful, and the best stories that Superman have operate on that deeper emotional level, and that's hard to do. But Superman for All Seasons is one of those books. So this is I wouldn't call it an all-time classic. It might get there over time, but this is one where people say, what Superman book I should read? They talk about, they'll usually give an origin story, pick one, right? Whether it's John Byrne, Jeff Johns, or Mark Waid's with Birthright, Secret Origin, and Man of Steel. Or you could pick Death and Return of Superman is obviously always thrown in there because that's his big storyline. All-Star Superman now, and that's kind of it. And along with that, along with those, Superman for All Seasons always kind of falls at the end of the list. It's never anybody's first pick, but it should be further up on the list. I think it needs some more respect. So that's my review of Superman for All Seasons. Let me know what you guys think of this book down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.